Welcome, dear listeners, to the chilling realm of the unknown. Tonight, we venture into the desolate stretches of endless highways, where the road ahead is obscured by shadows, and every mile brings with it a new whisper of terror. These are no ordinary journeys. They are tales of mystery, fear, and the inexplicable. So buckle up, keep your headlights on, and prepare yourself. For on these highways, darkness is not just a time of day, it's a destination. Let's dive into 10 spine-chilling stories of the supernatural, each more haunting than the last. Story No. 1, The Hitchhiker's Shadow. It was a foggy night on the old Route 66. Alex, a truck driver, was on his usual late-night haul, driving through the quiet highway when his headlights caught a figure standing by the roadside. A young woman, drenched and shivering, was holding her thumb out. Against his better judgment, Alex stopped. "Where are you headed?" he asked as she climbed in. She gave him a weak smile. "Just a few miles up, thanks." She said little, but something about her presence unsettled Alex. Her clothes seemed oddly outdated, her gaze distant. When he glanced at her reflection in the rearview mirror, she wasn't there. He nearly swerved off the road, but quickly calmed himself. A mile down, she whispered, "This is fine. You can drop me here." Alex stopped the truck. As soon as she stepped out, she vanished into the mist. Confused and spooked, Alex looked around. He noticed a small, weathered sign by the road. Story No. 2, The Eternal Tailgater. Jenny and Mark were on a road trip, driving through an isolated mountain highway late at night. The winding roads were challenging, and the lack of streetlights made it worse. Suddenly, headlights appeared in their rearview mirror. A black car was tailgating them closely, its lights flashing aggressively. Mark tried speeding up. The car matched their pace. "What's their problem?" Jenny asked nervously. They finally approached a tunnel, and as they entered, the tailgate vanished. Mark swore he hadn't seen them jump off. Just as they exited the tunnel, the car reappeared, this time in front of them, parked sideways across the road. Mark slammed on the brakes, and both braced. They opened their eyes. The car was gone. The highway was empty. Shaken, they decided to turn back, realized the tunnel was now simple. Story number 3, Rest Stop Spectre. Driving through the Mojave Desert at night, Clara was desperate for help. She found a lone rest stop. She pulled in when something felt off. There were no other cars, yet the restroom door creaked open as if recently used. Inside, she heard a faint sob. "Hello? Okay?" she called. Crying stopped. She checked each stall, finding nothing. Dismissing it as fatigue, Clara washed her face. When she looked in the mirror, there was someone standing there, veiled with hollow eyes. Clara spun around, but no one was there. She bolted back to her car, and as she sped off, she saw him standing in the restaurant, watching her. Story number 4, A Signal from Nowhere. Paul was driving through a remote stretch of highway with his radio, previously to the static and suddenly was happening. The story voice came. Curious but uneasy, Paul pulled up and checked his GPS. Before moving on to a spot 2 miles away. Against his better judgment, he decided to investigate. He reached a deserted clearing with an old, rusted radio tower. At its base lay a weapons room. Inside were entries describing strange signals and encounters, each eerily similar to Paul's experience. The final entry read, "Hear this, it's already too late." Paul's car radio blaring statically, louder this time. When he looked up, the tower's light was flickering. Shadowy figures. Story number 5, Phantom Car. Tom was a delivery driver making his way across a remote desert highway. His route took him through a barren landscape. As he drove, he noticed a line of thin gray trucks moving slowly and steadily, their taillights glowing faintly in the distance. Curious, Tom accelerated to catch up. No matter how fast he went, the convoy stayed just out of reach. Frustrated, he flashed his high beams, hoping to get their attention. Suddenly, the trucks all turned off. Confused, Tom pulled over and checked. There were no tire tracks, no sign of any. Shaking, he got back into his truck and continued. Hours later, he reached a gas station and mentioned the convoy to the attendant. The man's face paled. "You're not the first to see them. That convoy vanished in a sandstorm years ago. They've been haunting this highway ever since." Story number 6, the vanishing gas station. Late one night, Monica was running low on fuel while driving through an isolated countryside. She sighed in relief when she spotted a gas station glowing faintly in the distance. Pulling in, she noticed it looked like something out of another era. Old pumps, faded signs, and a vintage car parked by the side. The attendant, an elderly man with a kind face, filled her tank and offered her a free coffee for the road. Grateful, Monica paid and drove off, but as she glanced in her rearview mirror, the gas station was gone. Confused, she checked her receipt, only to find it blank except for the words, "Drive safe." Shivers ran down her spine when she later learned there hadn't been a gas station in that area for over 50 years. Story number 7, the silent passenger. Ethan was a rideshare driver, working late to make some extra cash. It was nearly midnight when he received a request to pick up a passenger from a remote location. The area was desolate, but a young man in a dark hoodie was waiting by the roadside. "Downtown," the man said quietly as he got in. Ethan tried to make small talk, but the passenger remained silent, staring straight ahead. A chill filled the car, and the air felt heavier with every passing mile. When Ethan glanced in the rearview mirror, the back seat was empty. He slammed on the brakes, heart pounding. Turning around, he saw no one. Moments later, his rideshare app pinged with a message. "Thank you for the ride." The passenger's profile picture was of the same man, with a caption beneath, "Loving memory, 1990 to 2015. Story number 8, the road that never ends. Emma and Liam were driving through a forested highway late at night, eager to reach their destination. They followed their GPS, but the road ahead seemed endless. After hours of driving, the trees and bends in the road looked eerily identical. "Didn't we just pass that sign?" Emma asked nervously. Liam checked the GPS again, which now displayed a glitchy, looping arrow. Panic set in as they realized their phones had no signal. Desperate, they decided to turn around, only to find the road behind them had changed. The forest loomed darker and the air grew colder. Just as hope began to fade, they saw headlights in the distance. A truck driver stopped and asked if they needed help. When they told him about the endless road, his face turned grim. "You're lucky I found you. This stretch of highway traps people sometimes. If you hadn't stopped me, you'd be driving forever." Story number 9, the toll booth keeper. Driving home after a late shift, Sarah approached an old toll booth she'd never seen before on her usual route. The keeper, a man with an unsettling grin, handed her a ticket without asking for payment. The ticket read, "Admit 1, Final Journey." Confused and unnerved, Sarah drove on, but her surroundings became increasingly surreal. The road twisted and looped in impossible ways, and the landscape around her shifted from familiar to alien. When she tried to turn back, the toll booth was gone. Instead, she saw a sign reading, "Welcome to the Other Side."